with Halloween Kills finally being released both theatrically and on Peacock. Here's a belated review of 1981's Halloween 2. Let's open it up. The film picks up where the previous century left off, and while Carpenter wrote and produced the film, as well as directing a handful of scenes, he couldn't contribute much to this film around this time, as he was occupied with both his Remember the Thing and The Singing Escape from New York. Both films I rather love. This time, directorial duties fall to Rick Rosenthal, who, apart from two other films in the 80s, has mostly done on TV work before and since. Most of the cast plays the roles from the first film, though this time, Dick Warlock subs in with Nick Castle as the body double of Michael Myers, credited as The Shape. We'll say this: Lake Donald Pleasance's performance as Loomis in this opening scene does a fantastic job of showing off his range. Though this film came out in the wake of the horror film craze it helped inspire, make it immediately familiar, many of the deaths are quite effective, just one near the beginning of the film where the authorities mistake a bystander and caution for Michael. Cinematographer Dean Cundy and the film's co-editor Mark Goldblatt do try to maintain a similar presentation, and the two will go on to work over numerous decades and productions. Cundy is currently working on the upcoming Book of Boba Fett series, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Though he is hospitalized for wounds, the city hospital does make for an effective area for the horror to take place. Also, because Jamie Lee Curtis had her hair now familiar short haircut by this point, she had to wear a wig to keep things consistent. Fair enough. It was 1981, still culturally close to the 70s. Michael is still at large and catches wind of where Laurie is via news radio. Also, despite Laurie's objections, the doctors sedate her as Michael opts to finish what he started. Michael sets his plan in motion, cutting the phone lines in the hospital, then sabotaging the comms in the storeroom before killing the guard, Garrett. Elsewhere, Loomis is trying to figure out the connection between Michael and Laurie, leading to another moment we'll get to later. There's this flashback/dream sequence that connects to this. When I first saw on this movie, I always thought that was just because of sedatives. However, let's muddle this into a pool where Michael makes another kill, and apparently the actress playing the victim in this part got an ear infection from the cause of dirty water. Yeesh. The guard that gets killed right before that also does a good job for the film. It was kept out of focus. Loomis also has a clue written in blood, Simone, which is pronounced Sam Hames of the usual Simone, but hey, public license. There's also reveals a much different and more polarizing connection that Michael and Laurie are siblings, which only made the timeline of the series trickier with each passing decade of films. Granted, not quite as complex as the Saw franchise, but still weird. That, and Carpenter later regretted this decision, apparently coming up with the idea after getting drunk at 2 a.m. Divisive twist aside, the denouement in the hospital still works as a finale, albeit in a different way than the first film. The way Michael sabotages all the cars and ambulances, especially the way he kills this nurse, lifting her out of her shoes, the doctor with a syringe in the eye also inflicts on another nurse, still freak me out after all these years of repeat viewings. The film, Michael and Loomis end on the two getting trapped in the boiler room, Loomis setting it on fire, seemingly killing them both and closing this chapter of the franchise for now. Though not as successful as the first film, it still made over $25 million at the box office on a modest $2.5 million budget. Likewise, don't put this on the same pedestal as the original. It is still a worthwhile entry, and in many ways, it's kind of like Ghostbusters 2 in relation to the first film, where it treads a lot of familiar ground, apart from some of the deaths and the familial connection, which the 2018 reboot largely abandoned in favor of an adversarial one instead. Doesn't stray too far from what worked before. Still, I'm a person who likes a less is more approach to both this series and other horror films. Whatever happens with the sequels, I will be there to see it. My final rating 3 stars out of 4. Though not right away, we'll be seeing Halloween Kills after it opens and seeing Halloween Ends next year. That'll be all for now. Take care, everyone.